This is the Listen Up Future Nurse podcast, and you're listening to Season 2, Episode 14, Your Vote, Achieving Nursing Excellence Through Mentorship versus Mediocrity. In this enlightening episode, we get to speak with Janae, a passionate pre-nursing student and dual state licensed practical nurse LPN, to explore her journey into the nursing profession. Janae shares the personal experiences and motivations that inspired her to delve into the unique perspective she brings as a Black nurse, discussing how her identity impacts her interactions with patients, particularly with diverse patient populations and environments. Listeners will gain insight into Janae's time in nursing school as an LPN student, through pre-nursing, and now as she begins her Bachelor of Science in Nursing BSN program. With mentorship playing a pivotal role in Janae's journey, she offers valuable advice to seeking out mentors, the essential qualities that make mentors effective, and how their guidance can shape the careers of aspiring nurses. As an advocate for professional nursing organizations, Janae emphasizes the importance of involvement in these groups. She explains how engagement in such organizations can empower nursing students to strive for excellence, fostering a culture of support and growth. Lastly, join us for this inspiring conversation filled with insights and practical advice for nursing and pre-nursing future professionals to achieve excellence rather than mediocrity. You're listening to an episode of Listen Up Future Nurse podcast. Scan the QR code if you're watching, or click the link in the podcast show notes to get your virtual remote. Make sure to tune in and subscribe on Spreaker and follow us on all your favorite podcast locations. And watch us live online on all of your favorite social media sites. No login, no problem. No matter if social media isn't your thing or you're taking a break, you can listen in right on our website. Save your data and this episode by downloading it from our website, nursinginspired.com/podcast. So if you have to take a pause, you don't lose your place where you were listening or your battery power. That'll also help our podcast rankings rise to the top. This podcast is hosted by Fallon M. Flowers. Janae is a pre-nursing student at Nevada State University with a psychology minor. She is a dual state licensed practical nurse for Illinois and Nevada with almost 20 years of experience in diverse clinical settings such as community health clinics, skilled nursing facilities, private duty, and nursing agencies. As a proud graduate of the Chicago Public Schools Practical Nursing Program, Janae is currently pursuing her BSN with aspirations of a graduate degree focusing on leadership and education. Janae is dedicated to improving generational nursing communication by encouraging nursing students to become involved in professional nursing organizations at the pre-nursing level. Leading by example, Janae serves as an active member of several organizations, such as the Nevada Nurses Association, NNA, the Nevada Nurses Foundation, NNF, as an advisory board member to the National Student Nurses Association, NSNA, the Nevada Nursing Student Association, NVNSA, and the Southern Regional Director, and the Philippine Nurses Association of Nevada, PNANB. In her spare time, Janae is a mother of a teenager, devoted daughter, and an avid budding artist, as she has had her artwork on exhibit in a local art gallery. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 14. Your vote, achieving nursing excellence through mentorship versus mediocrity. And here today we have our wonderful guest, Janae McFarland, LPN, and soon to be RN.
Yeah,
Welcome. How you doing today?
thank you for having me. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am great. Thank you. And thank you for asking. And you are my fellow person from Chi-Town. When did you leave us?
I actually left like 2019, a little bit before COVID. That's when I
Okay.
transitioned over. They had a
Okay.
lot of opportunities here, and it was a lot easier to transfer your nursing license at the time. So
Okay.
I jumped right on that opportunity.
All right. Hey, you got to do what you got to do in this nursing world. I tell you that much. And I'm so glad that that was smooth for you and everything because, yeah, we know the state of Illinois is greedy and they don't want to share. And we don't have that compact thing going on. So, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, actually, Nevada is not part of the compact law either. So I
Really?
still wound up moving to a state that is not part of
Oh,
that.
no.
Mhm.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, I wanted to start off since you actually are my first guest who is actually a nursing student, but also a nurse. I wanted to know a little bit of background about your journey. So tell us what made you want to become a nurse, and if you happen to know at the time what type of nurse you wanted to be when you first entered nursing school.
Honestly, I do not know what led me to become a nurse. It was just through mentorship and guidance that I found Chicago Public Schools at the time had a practical nursing program. And people who are from Chicago, if you're familiar with how the school system is, once you're in high school, you have to pick like a major, so to speak, or you have to pick like a study that you're going to study. And originally, I was in business, I was a business major. And my business professor instructor told me, no, that this is not for you. I heard
Hmm.
about this program I think you'd be great for. And I pursued the practical nursing program. It was a 2-year program. So when I graduated, I was able to sit for state boards. I passed state boards, and ever since then, I've been a licensed practical nurse, and that has been, ooh, I hate to say it, it seems like forever, almost 20 years now.
Hey, God. Hey, don't hate to say it. Be proud to say it. My God.
It
Plus,
just
we
makes
don't
me feel
crack
so
anyway,
old.
so it's not like it wear on you. You know what I'm saying? So you all
Mhm.
good. But thank you for your service in nursing. 20 years, my God, or almost 20 years. That's so exciting. And yeah, I am familiar with some of the CPS schools that previously had LPN programs and then they closed them. And then now some of them are actually returning again, which is very exciting because we need more nurses. And LPNs are nurses, right? We got a leader right here, y'all,
Yes, yes.
that can tell it, and you are doing a phenomenal job. And so you started off business major, wound up switching over to nursing with mentorship, and from there, did well. And so in that mentorship and just in your time in working, did any particular type of nursing or a specialty stick out to you for you to pursue your education further?
Um, Honestly, I will be honest during this podcast. It was mostly about who would pay me the most. I really hopped from job to job depending on if they paid me well and also depending on like the organization. So if I felt
Mm-hmm.
welcome, if it was good leaders there, those were things that encouraged me to stay longer. But
Mm-hmm.
if not, if another place was paying me more, I would go and work for that place. I've worked in all different types of specialties. I've worked in skilled nursing facilities. I've done private duty care. I've worked with pediatrics. I've worked in community health. I've worked for like nursing agencies. I've pretty much worked everywhere except for a hospital.
Wow. Okay. And when you were, well, either way, here in Chicago or there in Nevada, with being an LPN, was the option for working in a hospital open to you? Like, was that something that you just didn't choose, or was it not available to you?
I feel like it was a combination of both. I
Mm.
feel like it wasn't a lot of opportunities available for LPNs to work in the hospital. there were positions where you can work in like hospital-based clinics where you
Mhm.
can do like outpatient care, but I've honestly never enjoyed working within large organizations. I
Mm.
prefer to work into like smaller community-based organizations.
Okay. Yes, and I see you have a heart for a community for sure because you are in or have been in or are in so many different or nursing organizations and everything. So I see that you definitely have a heart for the community. Um, so now that you are back in nursing school, I want to know from you and from both times actually, if you could, what was the best thing about nursing school when you were in your LPN program? And then now, what is the best thing about being in nursing school where you're at now?
Back when I was in LPN, it was a lot easier. I feel like
Mm,
I didn't have as many responsibilities as far as having a kid or having bills and stuff to pay because I was more so in high school. But now, as I'm in school, it's more of, well, how am I going to pay for school? It's really expensive. So it's a lot more responsibility, I feel, this time around,
mm,
trying to manage schooling and being a parent and being a caregiver for my parents. It's a lot more like hats I have to wear.
I see. Okay. Um, and so that was some of the better things for back then for you is not having all the adulting things pretty much because you did
Mhm.
this in high school as an LPN in your LPN program. Okay. Um, and then now, what would you say is the best thing for where you are now that you are maybe enjoying about nursing school?
Um,
Second
the
time.
best, the best thing now, I feel like I'm more aware of how beneficial the opportunities are.
Mm,
Maybe when you're a little younger, you don't appreciate all of the opportunities that are available to you as far as like doing certain research projects or having
mm,
undergraduate experience in certain areas. But I feel like now as an adult, I value those things more. So I want to take
mm,
advantage of those things more. And also, just maybe my mindset, my level of learning. I'm not like just learning to pass the test to get through boards. I'm
mm,
actually learning because I want to learn and keep the
mm.
information. So
Okay.
even just maturing mentally, I feel like it's better.
Okay. Wow. And that I think would be is really helpful for people who are either starting nursing school later in life or returning back to school, or either way, even if they are have done like you've done, taking some time to work as a nurse and then go back to school to kind of further your education. There is something about, I think, that wisdom piece about going back to school as an adult. I could definitely appreciate that because I was, I had also gone back to school as an adult and had some previous experience too. Like you mentioned, I had my bachelor's degree before going into nursing. And so, yeah, that appreciation is definitely there because, ooh, let me tell you, that first time going into college, I just, yeah, I was not fully ready, when I
Mhm.
first went away to college at all and didn't really know about reaching out for help and utilizing the resources that are available to me and all the things. And yeah, once I furthered my education, it was all about trying to figure out how am I going to pay for this. And this is like, if you have the advantage of being in high school or starting college and you got that fresh financial aid and you don't have anything else going on, please appreciate that time and take advantage, y'all. I'm telling you.
Mhm.
But what I also love that you said is that, this time around, you are also not just focusing on passing the test, but it's really about wanting to actively learn as well, because, you know, not only when it comes to that NCLEX, but when it comes to working, in the field, you really need to have a critical understanding. And you more than anybody, really would know that because you've already been working as a nurse. And so it's like you're now really expounding on the knowledge that you already got from your LPN program, but also your work as an LPN all this time. And so that's really, really valuable. And then it was one more thing that you said that, oh, research. So you're in a BSN program, is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. So we didn't have that open to us as a ADM students and everything, but I did get to incur or experience research in nursing later on and everything, which was really valuable. But for those that are in BSN programs, just take word to the wise for what Janae is talking about, which is just taking advantage of all of those things, because our voices really need to be heard. Representation matters so much, y'all. I
Mhm.
cannot say it enough. It's probably a hashtag in every post I write. Um, we not only need to contribute our voice, with when we're sitting behind closed doors doing the research, but when it's actually written, our faces need to be present. Especially if we're interacting with patients, it's so very important. So, because what was some of the research that you've been doing in your program so far or had experience with over time?
Well, actually, I just got admitted into the nursing program. I just
Okay.
passed my T's, so I'll be joining the spring 2025 cohort. Thank
All
you.
right.
I heard I was one of the top 5 applicants. I'm so excited.
Woo! On fire. Okay.
Mhm. um, so that whole process was really interesting. It was really an interesting test, and I feel like the area where I thought I was going to be confident, I was not as confident. So
Mm.
maybe also I'll leave that as a gem too. We're starting to notice, at least for us. Do you all take the T's too, or is it
Yeah,
just
folks here do take the T's. I didn't have to take the T's back in the day, but I don't know. I pray for the folks that gotta take it now.
yeah, with the T's, it's not what you think it is. I felt like I went into it thinking like math would be the most difficult portion, but
Mm,
actually it was the reading. And I feel like because we all speak differently, we all interpret language differently,
mm,
especially for people who are English is not their second language. They may
yes.
not put the commas where the commas are supposed to be versus math is universal. So
Mm,
that's like
yeah. Mm,
another tip. Like focus on that reading, the main topics, go back and like go through that stuff too.
mm. Wow, that is so good. That is so good. I'm so glad that you shared that too. Yeah, because some programs require T's, some don't, but you really just need to overall prepare, regardless of what you think your strong suit is. Do practice questions, do practice tests. You can do your reviews and stuff like that, but you really need to find where your areas of opportunity are. Um, and so, yeah, go ahead.
And then to go back to your original question, the research. So I haven't done any official nursing based research. I have joined TRIO. TRIO McNair is a federally funded program where they assist first generation students. It's an awesome resource. And also locally, we have a research program called NBRE. So
Hmm.
through TRIO, I was able to conduct some research on the experiences of undergraduate students with chronic health conditions. And
Okay.
then this summer with Embry, I was able to do like more lab based research and gain some laboratory skills. So
Okay.
that project was a microbial exploration of contaminated cedar tree oil. And I'll
Hmm.
actually be going to present that research in February in Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh, wow. Ooh, I wish I had one of those horns that they play in the reggae class. Blah, 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 blah,
Mhm.
blah. Wow.
Mhm.
That is so amazing. My God. Yeah, because bench research, I got to do a little bit when I was getting my degree in biology, but that's awesome what you're doing. But what I didn't get to do at the time was present. So that is awesome, getting that skill to be able to, be a presenter. So actually even the skill of submitting your proposal, because
Mhm.
that proposal piece, y'all, anybody who has ever pursued research or wants to pursue it or anything, that whole process in itself, just to present, put all that stuff together and have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. Oh my goodness. And
Mhm.
then you have to go and present. And presenting and speaking and all of that, and knowing your technology and all of that, and how to engage your audience, all of that is a skill.
Mhm.
Um, and I laud you. That is so awesome. A sister in Alaska presenting. I mean, I'm talking about, and she's a nurse.
Mhm.
Look at this, y'all. That is
Mhm.
so. Great. Oh my gosh. Wow. But I love what you were doing with the other presentation too about the chronic health conditions, because it's a lot of, everybody got something going on. And even folks that are going into nursing programs and stuff like that has chronic health illnesses and everything. So that's great that you were looking at, how to help students as they are dealing with their health at the same time. So that's really amazing.
Yeah, I think that may be one of the projects I try to carry on into my doctorate career and try to make that
Okay.
my dissertation because
Hmm.
it's really important. Some people may not even understand or realize that they have a chronic health condition. I was
Mm.
surprised, like things like anxiety or even like acne is
Hmm.
considered to be a chronic health condition, and you can qualify for services like at your school where you have accommodations. So it's really important for students to know, like, hey, you have these resources
Hmm.
available. It doesn't matter what stigma is attached to it, you can still
Absolutely.
use your resources.
Absolutely. You are so absolutely correct. Those ADA accommodations are really valuable. I mean, if you're dealing with it and you're going to see somebody about it, no matter if that's a practitioner that takes care of you for your general overall health or if it's for your mental health or both. I mean, if there is something that is, taking time away from you being your best self when it comes to being a student, no matter if it's for assignments or tests, get that accommodation. Because there's nothing worse than saying something at the very end and you've already gone through midterms and now you got these last few assignments or tests left and trying to figure out if you're gonna make it or not.
Hmm.
Can't do that. We
Yeah, and it's because I after the I don't know if you all are familiar here in Nevada, we had a huge shooting at one of our sister schools, UNLV.
Okay.
So every since then, if I hear a door slam, if it's any loud noise, I'm looking, I'm
Yeah.
searching. So I had to talk to,
Mm.
the school and get accommodations. That way I can be able to use that resource if I need to.
My
Because who
God.
wants to be struggling during an exam when you can have extra time if you need it, or you can have a quiet place to do your exam? So it's
Yes.
just really important for students to realize, like, use your resources. It's not a bad thing.
Absolutely. Wow. And I'm sorry to, hear that you went through that. PTSD and just traumas and things like that are
Mhm.
so real, and we really need to make sure to address our mental health. So even without the accommodation, just the fact that you decided to say, "Hey, you know what? This was something that was disruptive to me. This is something that I'm having a challenge with handling. Let me go take care of this." And as I tell my patients, look, if you see something, say something.
Mhm.
So no matter if it's with your, physical health or mental health. Um, and so I want to take the time to step away for just a quick commercial break, and then we can come through and answer some more questions. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Attention, business owners. Are you ready to tap into the fast growing market of the nursing community? Partner with us to showcase your products or services to this dedicated audience. Nursing programs, especially at HBCUs, educational programs like CNA, phlebotomy, and CPR, healthcare staffing agencies, and businesses focused on self-care and mental health support. If you're a business focused on providing solutions for the nursing inspired, our platform provides a unique opportunity to especially connect with future nurses eager to invest in their education and career. You could be next for a sponsorship advertising opportunity on the Listen Up Future Nurse podcast. Contact us at info@nursinginspired.com to learn more about advertising opportunities today. All right, all right. So we are back. So far we've been able to talk about, what led you into nursing in the first place, your journey not only as a high school student becoming an LPN and your 20-year work experience, and then now pursuing your BSN and even doing things like research. I want to look at in your journey along here, and this is really, I think, more because you have been working already as a nurse. Um, how does and did your presence as a Black nurse, how did it affect your interactions with your patients? Like, did it hit differently, especially, I think I'll say, with your Black patients, but also your non-Black patients?
I feel like I predominantly always worked in Black areas, so I feel like there was maybe not as much of a disconnect between myself and the patients, and also the facilities where I worked at, they were in predominantly Black areas, so all of my patients
Okay.
were Black. So maybe that was not a topic of concern then. But
Okay.
as I transitioned to do more like private duty home health based care, and I got
Mm,
to interact with patients outside of my community, that's maybe where racial things came into play.
mm.
Especially when I dealt with like Hispanic patients, I
Okay.
found myself having to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
So I do know a little bit of Spanish, and I feel like as a healthcare professional, it's important to try to meet your patients where they are at. So
Yeah.
if that means you even have to learn some body parts in Spanish,
Mm-hmm.
it's really easy. Just keep doing it
Mm-hmm.
over and over, so that way you can connect on that level with your patients and they appreciate it. Um, Here in Vegas, it's like multicultural.
Mm-hmm.
So it really doesn't even come up here as much. I do notice here in Vegas, nursing is a little bit segregated. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
there's a Filipino Nurses Association, there's a Black Nurses Association. Like,
Mm-hmm.
everyone is kind of like clicked up into their own associations.
Mm.
So I have noticed that on this
Interesting.
side. Mhm.
Okay. And so with that, then what about the state organiz? Is there much activity with like the state organization, nursing organization? You know, like how we have like Illinois Nurses Association here and stuff like that. Is there like the Nevada Nurses Association that folks are involved with too? Then outside of the kind of diverse
Yes, yes. We also have a state association, the Nevada Nurses Association. So that's the catch-all for everyone.
everybody, okay, but
Yeah.
otherwise
But
everybody's grouped up. Okay.
but then also Nevada's geography is different than most states. You're either in the north or you're in the south, and it's
Hmm.
mountains in between. So
Wow.
that kind of divides us as well. So either you live in the north or you live in the south. So that
Wow.
also causes like some geographic divisions too. So even when
Interesting.
we have events, we have to rotate from the north to the south in order for
Oh.
everyone to get a chance to attend.
Okay, okay. Yeah, and that makes sense too. I have seen some of the nursing organizations, the state really kind of like the state related nursing organizations here, they'll separate, they'll, rotate, but the thing is that some of the places that they rotate to are literally only available by car, and it's just like, everybody ain't able to or wants to get on the road for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. Like if you go host it someplace, at least host it where it's accessible, maybe by airplane, by Amtrak train, by bus, by car, something.
Yeah.
But um, that's interesting. And we do have, here I know, I'm most familiar with, the Black Nurses Association, which we're both members of, so we do have, several Black Nurses Association chapters here. I am familiar with NAN, NAHN for the National Association of Hispanic Nurses.
Mhm.
I don't see too much of the other like diverse like relation, race related type nursing organizations active here so much, but that's interesting your observation of that. Part of the reason I want to ask is because sometimes Black nurses have said, I have worked in places and then either the one or two things will happen. There'll be that make it mistaken identity thing that'll happen where, oh, you come in the room and they're like, oh, can you tell my nurse? And it's like, no, I am the nurse. Or, they think you're the CNA or maybe the PCT or the, dietetics service person or something like that. So sometimes it's that happens, and that could be from either Black or non-Black patients, or otherwise, Black patients that are excited to see somebody Black and they proud. They're like, oh, you my nurse? Okay. So,
Mhm.
I just kind of wanted to know what your experience has been along the way
Mhm.
and everything.
Yeah, yeah. Here it's so cultural. We have so many variety of people here. It's really amazing. When I moved out here, we have Hawaiians, we have Filipinos, we have Blacks, we have a huge like Asian population. They
Hmm.
actually call Las Vegas the ninth island. So like we're
Huh.
so close to Hawaii. We have that
Okay.
many Hawaiians, Samoans
Wow.
here. It's really
My
diverse.
God.
So I think maybe like racial things are not as prominent here.
That's so awesome. I'm glad to hear that because we
Mhm.
look, man. We sometimes we really have to endure a lot as Black folks. I mean, I'm here in Chicago, and as Chicago is very diverse. However, it's still segregated, and it's in its ways. So up north, everything that you're
Mhm.
talking about, we see a lot of mix of a lot of different folks and everything. But out south, out west, predominantly Black, and then we see some Hispanic, but mostly up north otherwise is Caucasian, and then some of the more diverse populations maybe from out of the country, for instance. But yeah, um we here of course have, like you mentioned, you've worked in a lot of places where you've worked or lived where there's a lot of Black people, and even for us here, folks see us so much, but sometimes I think when we move to new states and new areas, if folks aren't used to Black folks, you can kind of incur some challenges. And so I'm glad to hear that all has been well in Nevada and Vegas. Yes.
Hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing state to live in. We don't have state taxes, which was one of the best things that I love about living here.
My God, you just
Hmm.
got away, boy. You got the weather, no state taxes, it's all diverse. You over there
Hmm.
doing big things.
No, we still have the weather. It was like 45 degrees this morning, so it still gets a little chilly. Hmm.
Wow. Okay. I was in Vegas last November around Thanksgiving time, and it did get a little cool. I was like, in Vegas? What is this? As hot as it? You could boil an egg on the sidewalk any other time. I didn't know that until I got there.
Hmm.
Wow, that's so awesome. um, Not the cold part, but you really escape with those state taxes because they tax us to death here in Chicago. But nevertheless, I'm gonna get back to the topic at hand.
Hmm.
As I actually walk across the street.
Let's not
Um,
do taxes and politics.
Man, woo, Jesus. So, you said while you were in the LPM, you had mentorship. So tell us how mentorship has influenced your journey, as a nurse, as a pre-nursing student and future nursing student and everything. How has that influenced your journey?
I feel like just starting off, the mentorship was just pivotal in showing me a different path. Like I
Mm.
didn't even know, I wasn't even thinking about nursing. I don't know what I was thinking about. In business, I was gonna open a beauty salon that had a daycare attached to it. So that
Oh.
was that was my big goal before I came to nursing. So that's how mentorship helped me just to
Mm.
be able to see different paths. And now as I progress, I have a variety of mentors. They all serve me in very different ways. Some of them help me review papers. Some of them I just use for moral support, and I send them updates once a semester and they say, "Oh, great job, Janae. We're so proud of you." Others I utilize for opportunities. They have connections, so they're able to let me know when they have scholarships or internships or different
Awesome.
fellowships that I may be able to apply for. So, and also, with mentors, it's also important to know when you are not a good fit with the mentor. I have not always been a good fit for the mentor. We just had different styles.
Mm.
So also it's important to know like, hey, this mentor is not a good fit for me,
Mm.
and just maybe replace them with someone else in your circle.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Okay. And I wanted to circle back just a bit because it's not nursing related, but I thought it was so awesome what you said about your business idea. Because we all know nurses can be entrepreneurs too.
Yeah.
You can have multiple. You could be a nurse and still do an outside business. I'm telling you, nursing is so diverse. I love it. But you mentioned about having a beauty supply with a daycare attached on the side.
A beauty salon. So you
Oh,
know how
salon.
normally ladies may have to bring their kids with them, and there's usually no kids, no service. But if you have a little daycare attached where they can drop their kid off, how long are they going to be in there? Hour or two at the most, unless they're getting
Right.
some braids or something. But
Right.
it's a helpful service to have.
Yeah. I mean, in these days, shoot, it might be the braids, the sewing, all of that type of stuff. And some stuff could be 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. So, hey, that's
Hmm.
kind of cool. You might still
Hmm.
consider doing it once you finish with your dirty. Oh my God, shoot, you could almost, man, that I don't know. I'm just my mind just starts to go when I hear ideas. That's that innovator in me because I'm like, couldn't you do some school physicals or something like that? you know,
Hmm.
they could be a vaccine clinic. You can give them they get vaccines if they need to catch up too. They little school forms or something. I don't know,
Hmm.
but
Or even have it be like a little health class where you
yeah.
teach them some health related things, how to do little first aid stuff, band-aids or something.
Yeah, yep. Hey, and that could be, hey, like, look, MBNA got the mini nurse academy. You can have little stethoscopes in there and all little
Mhm.
stuff with the little kits.
Dolls
Expose
they can
those
play
kids.
with.
That's what we got to do. Exposure is
Mhm.
key.
Yeah, expose the kids. That is important.
Yeah. Oh my God. And that actually so leads me somewhat to the next question I have for you. So, what are some like key things that you would recommend for people to look for in a mentor, like that makes a great mentor since you have so many and you've had so many over the years too.
Availability.
Mm,
See what their availability is. Also discuss expectations, what
mm,
you expect from them, and also like what they expect from you.
mm,
Maybe they don't want to talk to you every day. Maybe they only want to talk to you once a month, or maybe they want you to contact them on this email versus that email. So
mm.
just to set expectations are always important. Availability, expectations, and just a variety. Like my mentors are not in healthcare. They are not like nursing based. They are all from different avenues and assets of life, and you never know where you may need them. So just to have a variety of mentors too.
That's good. That is good. I love that. Yeah, you are right. I have, as I reflect back in life, I do think of folks in the past and even present who are not nurses, but they have given me just so much like life wisdom, encouragement, and prayer, all the things, some of the things that I
Mhm.
need, just a listening ear sometimes. And so yeah, I do appreciate that part for sure, about that. But also that availability and expectations, because you're right. Don't call me every day. Don't text me every day. I'll still be out a couple of days ago. Look, I just worked 24 hours in the last 2 days. Look, I
Mhm.
can't be there for you like that every day. So yeah. Wow. Yeah, definitely love that. Those are great pieces of advice, for excelling, helping to you excel in your just life journey, but also your career journey in nursing. So
Mhm.
awesome. I'm gonna stop over to a quick commercial break and then we're gonna end out because we gotta
Okay.
roll. All right, y'all. Hey, future nurses. Whether you're headed back to school or returning as an adult student, preparing for the ATITs or HESI exams can be overwhelming. Staying organized is key. That's why we created the Nursing Entrance Exam Practice Calendar, your personalized roadmap to success. With options for 30, 60, 90, or 120-day plans, our calendar fits your schedule. Daily practice questions, full-length tests, structure reviews ensure you're ready no matter where you are in the journey. Back to school or starting fresh, get the tools you need to succeed with our nursing exam practice calendar. Start your journey today. Download now and take the first step towards your nursing career. All right, so we are back and gonna finish out this podcast. So, my last question for you is looking at excellence versus mediocrity with your involvement with nursing organizations. So tell us with your involvement and advocacy for nursing organizations, and then otherwise, what other advice can you differentiate yourself from, mediocrity and being excellent in nursing?
Um, I read this book called The 5 a.m. Club. And it is
Mm,
an amazing read on giving you tools as a leader and some skills to develop. And one of the topics that they discussed in the book was being excellent over being mediocre.
mm,
And they really went into detail about how people just are average now. Even when we
mm,
go, say, for instance, to the restaurant, how many times have you gone into a restaurant and your waiter is on their phone, or you have to wait for them to look up and greet you at the door? So, really, about being the person to stand out. What
mm.
can you do to be above average? Why be mediocre or average when you can be an A? Why be a C when you can be an A? So
Mm,
I highly urge all the nursing students to get involved with like professional organizations, in particular the National Student Nurses Association.
yes.
They have been huge in like shaping me and assisting me with networking opportunities and also to develop as a leader. And also with that, it's important to seek out those opportunities. I
Hmm.
know that we can be busy with school and life, but we have to make time for personal development, for
Yeah.
professional development. And that's what it's all about, aiming to be excellent. How can
Yeah.
you personally develop? Even as nurses, we have continuing educations that we have to do. But as humans, as people, we should have continuing education credits that we do. How
Yes.
can we be more respectful toward others? How can we learn to be culturally competent? How can we learn to be good leaders? So
Mm,
those are the gems and pieces of advice that I would leave. It's just to strive for excellence. I know it gets to be a lot and the load is heavy, but what can you do to make those changes to promote you to be better? What can you do
mm.
to enhance yourself?
That is good. I'm glad you brought the piece out about what you can do in life even outside of nursing and even those organizations too as well, because continuing education, no matter if it's in nursing, out of nursing, we still need to do it. We still need to learn. And then besides that, no matter if you're nursing student, you need a break sometimes. Looking at all that stuff all day long, you can really go down a rabbit hole with some of those health conditions in that med surg book. Look, you got plenty of time, okay?
Mhm.
So I'm so glad that you were able to share that with the audience, especially pointing out NSNA, because I was definitely involved with them too and everything. All righty, so we are down to the last question, but now that question. So I want to know from you, what question do you have for me?
My question for you would be, how do you excel as a leader, being a minority,
Mm,
female, and Black woman, without coming across as stubborn or headstrong or the B word?
wow, that is good. Oh, goodness. Okay. Um, I think I'll say maybe regardless of those things, what I try to lead most with is my heart as a Christian. Um, People see when they see something that you're being genuine, you're being thoughtful, you're being self-sacrificing. I think that people can kind of recognize that, and so when it comes to those leadership things, they recognize like, hey, this person is really grateful, or they took it and ran, you know. So in one particular example I'll use is I was invited into National Black Nurses Association, the Chicago chapter, back when I was a student, just to attend, as a guest. One of the nurses, actually that day, that I think that first meeting that I attended, whipped out her checkbook and wrote a check for me to become a member. And and then I got involved. I got scholarships along the way, but I could have got my scholarships and left. And one of the things I always talk about, with the chapter, in general, is what can we do to retain students, but it's also about what those students should do to retain, stay involved too. But there's nothing worse than, no matter what situation it is, but in that particular case, getting your scholarship, showing your face for a couple of meetings, a couple of events, and then you never show up ever again. And you never give back where you came from. That's so important to be able to give back and do those type of things. And so I'm so grateful to be a child of God, to be a believer, and to just lead with my heart.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yes, thank you for asking that. That was good. Okay, so any last closing thoughts, words of wisdom, how people can connect with you, or any announcements that you want to share at all?
I am old, so I do not have any social media. You can find me on LinkedIn by my name. That's the only social media I have, Janae McFarland. And just go and be great, be involved and be great. Be that A, not the C.
Love it. Be that A, okay? C's may get degrees, as they say, but be the A. Indeed. Thank you so much, Janae. I appreciate you for being on today.
You are welcome. Thank you for having me. And everyone, enjoy the rest of your year.
Indeed. You too. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. It's a wrap. Make sure to watch us live, listen to your favorite podcast locations, leave us a review, or if you'd like to reach out to support this podcast, reach out to me as a speaker, or sign up for coaching, please use your virtual remote. You can give us a review on your favorite place to listen or watch this podcast, such as Google, Yelp, or Trustpilot, and you can reach those from the virtual remote as well by scanning the QR code on the screen or by visiting bit.ly/FutureNursePodcast. Love what we're doing and want to create live streams like this? You can access the sign-up referral link in the show notes for STREAMYARD. If you'd like to be organized like the virtual remote, consider making one for your next event or as a link in bio with SOCIATAP. Please support this Black female-owned company and get yours today.